Hello, and welcome to another episode of TacoBytes, your daily bite of Degen, episode number 403. 3, not 6. We are talking today with 0x Larry from NF Raids. Larry, how are you doing tonight, man?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on, Taco. We met in New York and you told me about the show, tuned in a couple times, and excited to finally be on it.
I am honored and thankful that you were here. I think I told you that this is the worst daily show you never heard of because I'm consistently inconsistent, but daily.
If nothing else, you're consistent, though.
It's like annoying. It's like the annoying little sister. Man, so we met during the Solana hackathon, Solana Hacker House. How was that for you?
It was cool. I mean, that was the one in New York was the second one I had gone to. In Austin, first one I went to was in Austin, and that one I was doing my very best to just soak up as much as I could. Before New York, I was kind of really building my skill set as an engineer in the Solana space, but really got put on the right path in Austin. And New York was more just making connections with people like you. People that were in the ecosystem that were either building really cool things or had connections or knew of cool projects, things like that. So I, made a lot of really meaningful connections there, met people like you, like I said. Just kind of kept pushing along in terms of networking and trying to find a right home and a right fit for, what I was working on.
Yeah. And you've been building, so why Solana?
I mean, that's easy, right? Like anybody that's building on Solana will tell you because it's cheap and because it's fast. I was particularly drawn to the Solana ecosystem because of, the NFT scene here. It was easy for me to be onboarded, for not a lot of money, right? And NFTs caught my eye and I started, hacking around with Metaplex's APIs and stuff to, mint, update, and burn NFTs. And then I was like, all right, let's really get into the rust and the anchor of things. So I think I was just fascinated by NFTs from the jump, and they're really easy to work with on Solana.
Yeah. I'll be honest, those that FUD Solana just really haven't been looking at the news and what's been going out. I'm chain agnostic. So I feel that almost every chain has a purpose other than Keck chain. Keck chain did not have any purpose. Solana's
great for what it does, but to think that Solana's going to be the end all be all of all blockchain is naive, right? Like there are going to be chains that win in different areas, and I think Solana's going to win in a few of them. But to your point, yeah, we kind of all need to think this in a chain agnostic way.
Yeah, it's different chains for different things. And so to circle us up, you built your own thing.
Yeah. I was working at a Web2 company about a year and a half ago and got involved in crypto space. One of my buddies told me to mint a Degen ape, and I was like, okay, I'll try. Didn't end up getting one, but that was kind of where I dipped my toes into the crypto world. NFTs caught my eye. I was poking around in some Discords, made some good connections there, and was fortunate enough that somebody asked me to help out on an NFT project. So we did Brains and Zombies. I don't know if anybody in the Solana ecosystem remembers that project. We had some decent traction off the jump, but ultimately kind of died out. We tried to create a game for these zombies. I built the game. Admittedly, it wasn't that fun. It was for only 10,000 NFTs, right? So myself and my partner, Phil, who kind of brought me along this path, took a step back and we're like, all right, what are we doing? We're building a single game for a single collection, which only services 10,000 NFTs and let's say at most 6,000 people, right? If we have 6,000 different unique holders there. So we took a step back and, we were like, all right, let's build a collection agnostic game for, any collection on Solana. So
Yeah.
that's where we came up with this NF raids concept. Um, we can get into the nitty gritty of it, but just as like a banner or a tagline, it's a gamified raffle platform. So we're taking the raffle, trying to make it a little more fun, trying to make it a little more exciting, and producing some plug and play utility for collections on Solana.
And so really, from what I've been able to tell, is like projects that are already out. This is a new engagement tool for them to keep their community engaged, like while they're in the midst of building something, or to replace another time at Rumble.
Yep,
How many
that's
times?
spot on.
Yeah. Um, are you going to be doing any more plugins into like the Discord piece of it, or is it going to be completely separate entity?
Yeah, so we definitely want to attack the socials. I think what we've set out to do and what we've done is create this fully on-chain game. That was kind of the one requirement that I personally had from when we started working on this. We tried the hybrid model, and it works. Some people do it very well, and it's very effective and it's very fun. But if we wanted to bring this fully on chain, we figured that the true Web3 communities out there would really appreciate that. But yeah, so we kind of took the first step as being fully on chain, and now we're ironing that out and making sure that we solve those issues first, and then we're hoping to integrate with all the Discord plugins, Twitter, or now X plugins, and things of that nature.
Yeah. And so we start the journey at nfraids.xyz. Why did you do NF raids and not NFT raids?
Just a play on NFT, NF raids, non-fungible raids is the long name for it. And in their essence, they are non-fungible. Each one is unique, in the sense that if you create a raid of your own, it can be however many tickets or however many like maximum damage, which is essentially the raffle tickets, the maximum raffle tickets there. The percent chance of an item being airdropped to you, or the name and things of that nature. So really built in a way that can be tailored to whoever actually wants to host these raids.
Okay. And so far, who have you partnered with?
So currently, well, today actually, we had a soft launch. We went live, we posted up our first couple raids, and so the team is made up of myself, Phil, who is my partner for the Brains and Zombies, and then Token Guy Soul, who is the Liquid Capital project manager there. So he has a collection called Mateys, and we have a collection called Zombies, and so the three of us kind of put our heads together to create this thing. And so our soft launch today was just for those two collections.
Okay. And you've sort of had the start of, um, you guys do all the design work yourself, just between the three of you. What's the team look like?
Yeah, so we actually outsourced the design and some of the front end stuff. I like to think I'm a very talented engineer, but the front end is kind of mind numbing to me. So we had some help there. But as far as, BD and things of that nature, the other two guys on my team take care of that. And then kind of the gamification, if you will, in terms of, what percentage chance is this going to happen, or how many raffle tickets should we have for, this value of an NFT. That's all Token Guy.
All right. Nice. And then before we hop into the next section piece as we're going to go through a whole little journey of what this looks like, just want to do a quick shout out to everyone on YouTube, Twitch, Telegram, Discord, LinkedIn, and Unlonely family for joining us tonight. And then for all of those that are coming to us via video on Twitter, and those in our Twitter space, for joining us that are listening now or later. Please hit those comments, likes, subscribes, bell dings for the algo and getting this out here, because we hate doing SEO and we rely on you. And so, right now there's 3 raids. And so when we hit our first landing page, our first option is to connect our wallet, right?
That's correct. So we'll do that. And so I guess while this is loading, and granted, I need to do a little bit of work on the RPC optimization here because it's going to take a little bit, but just kind of an overview of how this works, right? I mentioned that it's a gamified raffle. So what that means is there is going to be prizes, obviously, in a raffle. For each raid, there's up to 5 unique NFTs. And so you can see here that there are 3 raids. And so I'm going to kind of walk you through this a little bit here, Taco. So if you go to, let's take the day 3 raid or the 3-day raid, for example.
Okay.
You can go to that raid and you can see these prizes and loot drops there. So these 5 NFTs are the ones being raffled off. And so if you look at the tickets remaining at the top, there's 2,851 tickets remaining. So that means that there are, 2,851 damage points or tickets available for you to claim if you'd like. And so we can also see that there are loot drops at the top here, and there's 61 of them. So Taco, if you toggle over to the loot drops there.
Yeah.
So these are items, and these items can be equipped to NFTs that participate in the gamified raffle themselves. And so each of these items has an associated attack buff, if you will, meaning each time your NFT, participates in a raid or attacks a raid, you can increase the damage points, which increases the number of raffle tickets that you get for that trip. So every NFT starts off with 1 damage point or 1 raffle ticket per trip. But the more items you add, the higher number of raffle tickets and damage you do. So it's advantageous for you to participate and, acquire these items so they can be attached to your NFTs, which then help you or help your chances to, win the raffles, right? So if we scroll down a little bit, you'll see the available NFTs to participate here. And so you can click one or both, whatever you'd like.
I want 2 attack power.
Heck yeah.
That's better than 1, right?
Yep, absolutely. And then you go send a raid. And so we got to do a little bit of password here, but now that we're in, confirm that. And so now these NFTs are currently attacking the raid, right? Once the transaction goes through. And so what that means is they're going to be locked out for 4 hours. So we can see that right at the top of the screen there on that bar. So successfully sent to raids. Nice. But we'll see this NFT lockout. And so that's 4 hours there. So that means for 4 hours, you won't be able to do anything with these NFTs on the platform. We don't freeze them. We don't do anything on chain with them that's going to prohibit you from buying or selling, trading, whatever. It's just in terms of the platform itself, you can't use it to, go on a different raid, right? Or attach or detach items there. And so, yeah, that's kind of the high level, overview of what this is in its most fundamental state. And, we have a bunch of ideas for what we can do in the future. One of those is, we talked about this attack buff where it increases your attack power or the number of tickets that you get per trip. The next item that we're going to introduce is a haste buff. And so what that means is it's going to knock down some time on this 4-hour lockout period. So that will be, obviously valuable because you'll be able to send your NFT on more trips, aka increasing the number of times that you can, gather raffle tickets, increase the odds that you're going to win the raffle. And yeah, I think that's a pretty high level overview of how this thing works. And like I said, it's in its infancy. There's still some kinks that we got to work out. But yeah, we're pretty happy.
You got a contract issue, didn't you?
Yeah. So we have a out of memory space in the contract, or running out of memory during program execution. So at a low level, what this means is during program execution, the space on the heap is, all taken up and the program can't continue to execute. I got a fix for that on DevNet right now. I didn't want to push that today. I want to get another opinion on it before I go live with that, and then just have to restart that process, but hopefully getting that pushed out by end of day tomorrow. And yeah, once we kind of, flatten out these kinks, we're hoping to get some more projects on that are, excited to have the communities participate here, things of that nature.
Nice. And then just for, the top level to wrap that up, even though the contract issue isn't with any security issues or putting anyone's funds or NFTs at risks, it's just how many people can go out on a raid.
Correct. So there's no security issue there, and that's something that definitely want to make clear.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is your NFTs participating in this. So let's say that you have a Mad Labs, right? Like that's just one off the top of my mind. That's very
A
valuable.
grail. Yeah.
Um, if you participate with said Mad Labs, there is no transfer of ownership at any point of time.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be locked up in our contract. It's not going to be sent anywhere. It stays in your wallet. We don't touch it. We don't do anything with it. It's basically just acting as a player within this platform.
Yeah. I don't know if I know you've been deep down in it, building out for your launch today and everything like that, making sure everything is lined up. Have you thought, I know at any time you can add any new NFTs that can go on raids. Have you seen the new Soul Flare scouts, the little
I have
Clanos?
not. I have not. No.
Oh, let me show you this real quick. Let me find this and drag this over. Have you done the Soul Flare snap yet?
To be honest, I haven't even heard of it. I've been so heads down with this thing.
So it is the being able to do Solana via MetaMask.
Oh wow.
So let me log into this real quick. Okay, I'm good. I'm on that. But one of the cool things, they did a partnership with Clanos. And so part of your little journey, you get to have a little Clano, and you have a soul, or they have like the more rare ones, the Soul Scout. But they did the little Clano Fox guys.
Wow, that's very cool.
I know how quickly sometimes some things can be pushed, and I know with like fixing things, um, you know, you have other priorities, but this might be something cool to just sort of like get some people that are, doing a whole bunch of journeys right now and get Soul Flare involved on it too.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is something I literally just thought of on the fly. So,
No, I love it. Keep the ideas coming.
but right now Soul Flare is doing a whole journey piece, um, you know, showing people how to bridge, minting some bonk stuff, some sniper, and then radium, and they have a whole 76-day journey, or now 45-day journey laid out. It used to be 76, but it looks like they shortened it a little bit. So
Wow, that's super cool. Yeah, we'll get our I think I have my work cut out for me tomorrow, but I'll ping my guys and tell them to get on it.
yeah. And so when someone's at your page, your inventory piece is for both liquid capital. That's the other NFTs they might have?
Yeah. So on this page, essentially what it'll be is going to be all partners or all projects that we have partnered with. And so let's stick with the Mad Labs example. So say Mad Labs does partner with us and they want to host their own raids, then you'll be able to see, a Mad Labs section in here. And so you can actually click on one of these just for demonstration's sake, but we won't actually have anything to do because we don't have any items yet.
Yeah.
And so here you'd be able to equip the items, and you can see, some stats: raids complete, lifetime damage, attack power, and then that cooldown reduction is what I hinted at with the haste buff itself. And so in that interface, you'll be able to attach and detach buffs there.
All right. Nice.
And then obviously in the rewards page, when you do get rewards, you'll be able to claim there. There's nothing there. Should probably add a little no rewards to claim, but yeah, so I guess one thing that I did not explain is how you get these items. And so the loot drops, if we go back to one of these raids, doesn't matter which one, they got a bunch of them. If we go to those loot drops, basically every time that your NFT completes its lockout period, the 4 hours that we discussed, you'll have to sign a transaction that says complete raid. And so at that point, an RNG runs on our contract. And there's, depending on how the raid is configured, 5, 10, 15% chance of you actually winning one of these loot drops or the items themselves. And so those will populate in the rewards tab as well.
All right. Yeah, random number generator. So you're doing a good percentage raffle piece.
Correct.
All right, nice. And so I don't know if I can talk about this because one of the things that we had talked about was like some of the future project ideas, integrations and stuff. And you were looking at possible some AI for some of the weapons.
Yeah, so that would be really cool. So ideally what happens is, we get some traction here and collections are, super excited and using it. And at that point, we would love to, use their style, throw it in a art generator and, generate some weapons or items in their style. So like, um, let's take a Degen ape, for example. We have a banana pistol.
Yeah.
That's their item, right? So yeah, we would love to be able to tailor some artwork or these items to the partnered collections. Just to not necessarily have unfair advantages in the game, but just kind of a little spice that is a testament or a nod to these collections.
Yeah. And because you're looking at bringing this to like an entire mod section. So like a community member or a community team member can start it up and get it going.
Yeah, absolutely. So ideally what happens is, we have a point man or point woman, point somebody from each project that is like the raids person. And so they would, work with us obviously to get things set up, but this is built in a way that there's a quick and easy interface to create these raids and add prizes and items and things of that nature. So yeah, ideally, we onboard people and then let them have fun with it, right? Like
Yeah.
that's been the whole goal since day one. We want to create a platform where, if you want to raffle off a, $1,000 NFT, go for it. This is just a more fun way to do it than on Famous Fox.
Yeah. There's what's some of the inspirations from this for you?
I think the biggest thing for me personally is I fell in love with NFTs and then I realized that they just collect dust in my wallet. I don't do a lot with them. So I think that, if this is the first step in, somebody using their NFT to do something every day, then I think that's cool.
Yeah. Uh, and so you said you've been in NFTs for what, about 2 years now, 3 years?
Yeah, probably just over two. Was it September? Yeah,
Okay.
just over two.
And that's just NFTs or crypto as a whole?
Um, Mostly NFTs. I think I was investing wildly in some crypto prior to that. Not really knowing what, just having my friend in my ear telling me that I should buy Bitcoin and things of that nature. Um, but yeah, I think once I was introduced to NFTs and started building with them, my mind kind of opened up to understanding, okay, I get Web3 now. I understand why it's necessary. I understand where it's not necessary and where Web2 should still be king. But, there are a lot of places where Web3 is absolutely needed.
Yeah. What's some of the things that you like that you've sort of seen tech wise on NFTs lately?
Um, so it's tricky, right? Like Solana specifically has done a lot with NFTs in terms of, programmable PNFTs and then compressed CNFTs. And so those kind of places of innovation has been really cool to watch. Um, my one complaint though is that it makes it challenging for people to, start building with NFTs on Solana right away because you need to actually understand three different types of NFTs, understand which use case is best for you, and then obviously go learn to do it. So the innovation piece is definitely super cool, and there's a lot going on there. And each form of NFT, whether it be a regular P or C NFT, has their use cases, but it is a bit convoluted at times.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think, Backpack has been really cool too. They've been, an inspiration for me a little bit. Since New York, I've been having this little voice in my head that I need to create a backpack app for raids. And just haven't found the time to do it yet. But that's once we get everything flattened out, good to go, and we're up and running. No bugs and things of that nature. That's probably going to be um, the next big lift, if I had to guess.
Okay. Man, yeah, no, just even integrating it directly into Backpack, then you'd see a partnership and integration into Saga, you know,
Yeah,
um, and just like sort of right there in someone's phone in their face. Uh, what did I buy today? And then what can I go do with it? Like
right.
I've been being a bit of a degen with Frenzy, which is the friend tech version of Solana. On Solana, it doesn't have chat yet, but it's got some cool stuff and rewards and airdrops and such. But like as we're integrating, it seems like the meta right now is on that social aspect,
Yep.
social value, social, waiting and seeing, of people. And now that you can like trade into projects without actually being in the project.
Right.
So
Yeah, I
there's
think that's
opportunity.
yeah, of course. I think that's another piece too that we've talked about internally a couple times is, um, we've talked to the heist a lot. They've been really helpful through this, and one of the things that we hear all the time from people in the heist is they love that there's an in-game chat. Like that makes it so much more fun for people to actually play the game because they can get on and share their excitement or maybe throw a chirp here and there or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So that's definitely a piece that we're thinking about too, just because the point of this thing is to bring a community together to participate, with against each other and things of that nature. So if you can add that extra layer of presence, being there, being on the platform, um, to your point, I think that goes a long way.
I I was talking with an amazing builder yesterday and today, and he was sort of looking at how he has to his functionality for the last couple of years in NFT projects, and saying that like the 10K collection is dead, and asked my opinion on it, and I was like, I think it is, because either, yeah, you can do smaller collections like in the 1,000 or less for like that tight knit community piece. Nouns is a really amazing example of that. That only one new person can join each week, and I think they're in like 326 or something like that. But I said, what I told him is I believe the meta really is in 100,000 collections. You
Yeah,
know,
absolutely.
uh,
Yeah,
you know,
I'm reading a book right now. It's The Tipping Point, Malcolm Gladwell. There's a piece that talks about the rule of 150. That you can be in a group of 150 people, but once you surpass 150 people, the connections between the people in that group start to break down. So to your point about the 10,000 collection, I see it. What I think people are doing pretty well now, though, are trying to break into factions. That's been a recent innovation I've seen, for communities and projects to do that, try to rally smaller, tight knit communities there. Um, but then again, on the other side, to your point too, is we see like Drip Haas, right? They're just airdropping to, hundreds of thousands of wallets, right? And you can see the community rallying behind that. But yeah, I think the 10,000 is on its way out, and that's not the first time I've heard it.
yeah, no, because especially in the game world, games can't survive. Like anyone in the NFT world usually follows the rule of three, or they try to, they try to mint in threes or minimum, one to hold, one to sell to make back, everything, and then one to flip when it goes sky high.
Right,
And so like on a 10,000 collection, that brings you down to 3,000 people if that works out. Some people brick up even more.
right,
Um, and so you really can't, if you're trying to make a game for the masses, but only 3,000 people can play it, it's sort of, you're limiting yourself. Um, I think we're
right. And I
seeing
think the other piece
Star
too is
Atlas.
yes, I mean,
Yeah.
they've done some very cool things without a doubt. But I think the other piece too is people are getting wise to NFT mints these days. Like there was obviously we all remember the time when you could mint an NFT and the value would go up and that was everybody was happy, right? Um, but people are getting wise to the fact that you can't just mint to mint. Like you need to buy into a project that's actually building something and you trust the team and things of that nature. So I think personally there's a lot of opportunity to, build products for existing projects that are still hanging on, right? That haven't pulled the rug out, that haven't given up and called it a day. That are still building, that still have active community, things of that nature. So, yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of opportunity there, and especially in the Solana ecosystem. I know I'm biased a little bit, but Solana is very resilient. There are a lot of resilient people on this chain.
Yeah. No, I agree. I was just at Crypto Monday here in New York and talking with the founder of Republic Capital and how he thought in 2010, nine months roughly after Bitcoin, the Genesis block, he was feeling that he was late. And at that time, he was only mining. He was only mining 600 Bitcoin per day.
Wow.
And he thought he was late because his friends who had gotten into it early had been mining like 1,500 Bitcoin a day.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
and, you know, and he sort of talked about how first Russia tried to kill crypto, it survived. Then China tried to kill crypto, and it survived. Then the US is now trying to kill crypto, and it survived. And crypto tried to kill crypto,
Yeah.
but it still survived. And
Yeah.
we see the resilience of an immutable ledger, you know.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, that's something I said earlier. Like there are so many pieces of, our society, not to get too big picture here, but like so many important actions that we do on a daily basis that is fit for crypto. And I think it's just, a matter of time, right? Like most people that are on this show right now probably understand it. And that's the small majority of everybody on the internet today. So
yeah,
like kind of just have to bide our time a little bit.
yeah. Um, what? So you said that the first NFT you tried to mint was a Degen Ape.
Yes, it
Um,
was.
Man, I remember that mint, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I remember the last ape mint. You know, I didn't fud it. I was just like, I'm like, no, I won't be able to get into this. You know,
Right.
um, and then I was like, they've done some amazing stuff for the community, for themselves. I think one of the cool things to see is a really good gauge of a community is how many builders come out of it.
Absolutely.
You
And
know,
I think that's a testament to a lot of projects too. Is if you build that community and you spark the interest in people, they're going to want to contribute in some way. And whether that be, writing software or being community manager or, just being in the space to be in the space and grow it, I think they come out of really great projects, to your point.
yeah. I was at a Board Ape IP meeting last night in New York. Got to hang out with some of the Made by Ape and builders, and like how proud they are that they have like Made by Ape license, and like not only like proud that they were able to get that, rep it, but then what they can do, like they want to do good with that.
Right.
And I see that same thing sort of happen with different communities. Pudgy Penguins is really doing that. Like how many builders have come out of that, you know?
Yeah,
Dent
absolutely.
Deals, how many artists have come out of that? Trash Pandas as a derivative of Degen Apes, eggs, and then Clanos have taken off, and how many builders and content creators Clanos. Obviously, you cannot hate on DGods or Utes. People have their FUD on them on leaving chain, but they were thinking big picture.
They tried something new. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't knock them for that by any means. Like, yeah, it'd be cool to have them on Solana because they're such a great brand and things of that nature. But like, if we're all trying to break down walls here, and if somebody does it in a way that you don't want them to, don't take it personally. Congratulate them, wish them the best.
yeah. One of the things that got to talk with Armani about, and now got to see some of the light of it come, like started the curtain being pulled back with Mad Lads. They're building a wallet out. I don't know if you've seen, and multi-chain. And one of the things that by DGods moving chain successfully sort of sparked an idea. What happened if you bring your NFT on a quest to go to a different chain? That's part of go join and raid another community on a different chain,
Yeah, that would be very cool. And that's actually something we've talked about too internally with raids, is like, okay, if we can figure out a way to take one community on Solana, for example, and take another community on Ethereum, for example, and figure out a way to pin them up against each other in some type of competition, that could be very fun.
Yeah. And what's really cool is there's the infrastructure coming out on that. Like Neon, Axelar is doing some really cool stuff. I know there's a Solang, obviously, so people can use EVM contracts on Solana. There was a new project that launched where you can use Solidity contracts on EVM. But like this interchain communication is pretty amazing, and being led by both like Chainlink, Axelar, Wormhole. There's some amazing things building out here.
Right. And I think, like we talked about earlier, there's going to be many chains that survive and there's going to be some that don't, obviously, but the infrastructure to bring those things together to kind of have a common ground between these ledgers is going to be really important.
Yeah. Something I've been talking about, and this goes along with the line of that 10K meta of showcasing that you want more, not less. I think I've said this at least twice a day since I learned of it 5 days ago. EY, they're the infrastructure chain for Peroni beer. You know Peroni?
Yeah, good beer.
Yeah. Did you know that if you scan that QR code, it shows you the NFT of that beer?
I did not know that.
Every single beer bottle for the last 6 months has been an NFT.
No way. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Let me quick Google this.
And this is the crazy thing. They were like, when I was listening to him talk, Paul, the founder, talk on like the idea and stuff behind that, like asset management and stuff like that. And yeah, this stuff is just amazing.
There it is. I mean, that's the real world example of why this stuff matters and how it can be applied to, the everyday stuff, not just stupid pictures of apes,
Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool.
I just was like, what? Wait, what? Yeah.
So what chain are they on?
Polygon. EY is built on top of Polygon.
I mean, granted, like I've said before, I'm a little biased to Solana, but why wouldn't you use compressed NFTs? The cheapest.
Compressed NFTs weren't around yet.
Oh, yep. There you go. You're right. Wow. Should have waited.
Hey, you either wait or you're late.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah. So, I don't know. What else you want to talk about tonight? We've talked about NF raids. We
what are you excited about,
on a raid.
I think you're one of the more well-versed and knowledgeable people in the crypto space that I know of. So what are you excited about right now?
Let's see here. What am I excited about? Asset. So, okay. So this is Soft Shill, Asset Dash. I've been doing some stuff with them. Me and my business partner, we're doing an educational platform piece on Asset Dash. So that's like 60,000 crypto native people to learn about a project. You know,
Very cool.
I think that that's sort of cool. That's going to be on Zen. Zen's a token that we haven't launched, but that's launched on 14 chains. You know, but using it as a test point for the community involvement, but then seeing how well that works out as a platform, and Asset Dash is just sort of like gone amazing on that.
Sweet.
Liberty Square has been building some really cool stuff. Excited there. Really interested in a lot of the regulatory stuff. I got to get connected with Andrew, the founder of Republic, and I've been wanting to connect with him for a minute, as Republic has helped write the regulatory compliance laws for like every major thing from like MiCA over in Europe, the licenses, the Vera licenses over in the UAE, and then a lot of the regulatory bills that have been proposed here in the US, with him even going under congressional testimony last week and stuff like that. You know,
Wow.
I think the stance on regulatory pressure is eventually going to break. We're at that dam being pushed function right now. I think some really cool stuff in the music side is really coming up.
What do you see in the music side? I got a couple buddies in the music industry, and I'm always like, dude, like NFTs are gonna change the game. Like, and he's like, no, you're wrong. Like, maybe in 20, 30 years from now, but is there anything that you could see, in the near term that might, disrupt the space a little bit?
Yeah, and so not in 20, 30 years. And the reason why I say that is because it takes mathematically and on average, it takes about 25 years for tech to be involved into mainstream. Radio, when it launched, it took 22 years to get into the first radio in the house. Television took the same thing. Email was invented in the 70s, but you didn't get your first email till, the 90s or early 2000s. You know, um, uh, TCP, the internet protocol standards took that we're all building off of, and so we're 15 years in to blockchain, so 10 years on the far end.
Okay.
I feel that, and that's just based off of history. For standardization to come into play, as well as it being just a part of everyone's life. The TV
Right.
became the central part of everyone's life overnight. And they thought that was like the new thing. But so when your friends are saying 20, 30 years, they forget it's already been going for 15.
Yeah,
So
we've been around.
10 years to go, you know?
Yeah.
Um, but I think on the artist recognition side, there's a lot of pieces there. Um, uh, Venture One is a project that a friend is making out in California for copyright and digital copyright stuff for artists, getting recognition, because there's the classic saying, the doorman gets paid first and the drummer gets paid last. And so music rights, I think, will be a really big thing. Um, the access to it, I've started to see. So at South by Southwest this year, I got to meet this project, and they stream videos via NFTs.
Okay.
And so you don't own the NFT, you don't get to see the video. They went to Sony to get cameras to do some really cool video, like 4K video of like South by. Sony unfortunately said, sorry, but all of these YouTubers and projects got all of our cameras, but we really like what you're doing. We want to partner with you, but we want you to come out on a Star network. A Star is a parachain of Polkadot. And I was told this at a party by ATX DAO at like 2 o'clock in the morning, waiting for my friend named Walrus, uh, to go smoke cigars with. And I was like, I know a Star. I know what they've been doing. That's these two things. And I told people, I was like, Sony's making a move in Polkadot. Watch this. And now Sony, they took a little bit of a centralized approach. They made a fork of a Star, and they're launching their own chain.
Wow.
Sony's launch, and that's Sony conglomerate.
Right.
Movies, TV shows, music, pictures, cameras, everything.
That's nutty. So I guess let me pick your brain about this too. One of the barriers to entry I see in content being distributed that's stored on chain or linked to on chain assets is the convenience factor of if I open up Spotify on my phone, I know that every song that I want to hear is going to be on Spotify, except for the few gems on SoundCloud that I only listen to once in a while because I love them.
Yeah.
But I think that that's going to be a huge barrier to entry in terms of like, let's say if it is music or if it's a video platform. People go onto YouTube and watch 3 hours worth of YouTube just because the algorithm feeds them something else. So I'm curious what you think about
that. There's always going to be multiple different music platforms because of licensing rights, and who has the most money on the table to cover that. So we have Spotify, we have YouTube Music, we have SoundCloud, we have Apple Music, we have Pandora, XM Radio. I think that there's always going to be those pieces. I think one of the things you sort of touched on was new user acquisitions. One of the platforms that's been in my eye for the last 2 months now, I would say, is Privy. They're an account abstraction wallet, to where person doesn't have to worry about a wallet at all. It's simple text message and like a 2FA,
right?
For distributed key power, and it creates and generates a wallet. And I think if we move away from some of the terminology, instead of calling it wallet, but account library, or we sort of scare people away right away with these words, with our lexicon. And as we move into onboarding new people, you have a private vault that's just yours, but you own everything in it.
Right.
And so you get tired of that 99-cent song, you could go sell it for 98 cents.
Right.
You listen to an album for, like, how many albums did you buy? I don't know if you had did you have an iPod?
I had an iPod.
So Apple Music Store, how much did you buy? A few things?
Handful of things.
Okay. Now, what happened if you got done listening to it and you're like, I'm good on this song. I want to go sell it.
I mean, that'd be great. I'd make my money back after I got the use out of it.
You'd make some money back, and then there'd be a royalty piece back to the artist for it being sold again.
Right. That's like my one concrete example I can give people for NFT use cases is the concert ticket royalties. Taylor Swift sells out and she wants to disincentivize people from jacking her ticket prices up. She's an NFT, she puts 99% royalties on it. Nobody's going to sell the tickets. They're going to have to go to the concert.
Yeah. 90, you buy it, you own it.
Right.
That's a centralized aspect to it. I understand it, but that's one of the cool things that can be done. Now, she can also address her fans' wallets directly. September Morning has been doing something like that on ETH for a long time. Emily Laser, or I call her Emily. I say Laser, but her last name really Lazar. And like you have a September Morning, you go see this. You don't even have to, because they're in so many different venues and stuff like that, traveling around. You just go see their merch girl or their merch guy, and you're like, I got the NFT. You get walked backstage, you get VIP treatment for a $30 NFT.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Degens is one. The Aces is another collection I'm part of and really big on. Even Gary V friends, but you have one of these NFTs and you're part owner of a basketball team in the big three.
Yeah.
The Aces are trading at like $40 right now, $30, and it gets me access to any big three basketball game where I could go meet Ice Cube.
Yeah.
When the big three was here, D-Gods had a meetup and stuff like that. I missed it because I was lazy. I didn't want to take the train for so long out to Brooklyn. And I am shooting myself in the foot for that because I don't care. I don't know what people's political views are, but people got to meet Bobby Kennedy,
No way.
and
Yeah.
I at Masari Mainnet, I got to meet Vivek Ramaswamy.
Yeah, it's crazy the opportunities you can get just from, either holding an NFT or being a part of one of these Web3 communities that, is frowned upon by some parts of the world, but, held up as the end all be all in others. And, I think, me personally, I think there's a happy medium to be found there.
Yeah. And people always ask, what I think, utilities of NFTs are. And the number one thing, community.
Yeah.
Being so close to founders, I get to, this is a funny thing, how crazy Telegram is. There's this chain called Scroll. It's a ZK chain that's been launched and it's been building for a while. I've got to talk with the founder of it, and the designer of it, Daniel Helm, for a little bit over the last couple months. Seen him at a couple different conferences. I ask him a ton of questions, and he engages with me. He appreciates the questions and like the commentary and the talking about what he's building. And then at Masari, we were like, hey, he's like, hey, I saw you record my talk, because he got into an argument with two other layer one founders. And that was like a TED tech talk where they got deep. It was like they forgot everyone else was there and they were just having a straight like tech nerd talk, and it was amazing. And I loved it. And he was like, hey, can you send me that video? I was like, yeah, Telegram. Oh, wait, we are connected on Oh, we talked for like a year and a half.
Yeah.
Like, it's been like a year and a half, and like there was a picture of me from a year and a half ago. No, almost 2 years ago. Oh man, it was like
It's so funny.
it's crazy. But that they're so accessible.
Right. And I
You
think
know?
that's the other beautiful thing about people in Web3 is that they're so passionate and they want to be here. Right. Like you find people in other communities or other parts of, tech and things of that nature. And they're there because, the money's there. And obviously people are in crypto for the money. But at the end of the day, the people that are like really here, really active, believe in this stuff, which is always
Yeah,
encouraging to me.
yeah. I think one of the last things that's really got my interest is like the Internet of Things.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
big time.
so like demo. I've I've been pronouncing it Demio forever. Um, they told me no, the umlaut above the I was sort of to make it look like a garage door, you know? And I was like,
Okay.
oh, demo. I can say it now. But like they're doing car integration, smart car integration with a fob piece. So you have more control and knowledge over your car data,
Yep.
and without having, and that you can update your car without, you own that data and you
Right.
can update it. And so, and then you get paid to drive,
Yeah, you can sell your own data. There you go.
Yeah. And I think data ownership, here's a question for you. I've asked this twice. You've heard of WorldCoin
I have.
and the whole face orb thing? So
No.
I set up so where you got to do the eye scanning and stuff like that to
Oh,
identify.
yes.
So I set up a hot wallet and on a burner phone, and that had no ties to me. And I scanned my face. What do you think? To prove individuality to a real person to a wallet.
So I think two things. One, if that's really what you're trying to accomplish, good job. You did it. Is that defeating some of the purpose of why we're in Web3? Absolutely. So it's kind of a double-edged sword there. Like it defeats some of what we're trying to build, but at the same time, gives us a very significant, truth in communication over the internet. So it's kind of, I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest, but I see both sides.
Yeah. And the reason why I feel that we'll always have a pseudo anonymous side, and why I say pseudo anonymous rather than just anonymous is because we have wallet addresses.
Yeah,
Everything is transparent and consistent. So that brings pseudo anonymity. You can go looking up any wallet and find it, track it, airdrop it, something stupid if you want. But I think that um, as tech integrates with the real world, proof of identity will be a piece, especially as if voting comes on blockchain.
yeah,
You what if we get rid of DAO votes with someone go if it's based on amount of wallets that participate to reach quorum, not amount of votes per token. Someone goes and makes 40 wallets or 400 wallets so that quorum can be made and they can vote on their own
right.
proposal.
Take anybody that knows what they're doing 2 hours max to do that.
Yeah, you know, and heck, even if you don't know what you're doing, people can be like, wait, if I make more than one wallet, we've seen that with like batch minters,
Yep.
Sybil attacks and stuff like that. Sybil, sibling airdrops. What if, you had a product and you had real users, identifiable, like those are individual specific. I don't know who those people are, but I know that that is a real person. Would you incentivize them more for participating?
Probably.
So if there's no identifying information other than saying that is a real person and it is not anyone else, boom.
That's pretty good. I mean, it's more or less CAPTCHA, right? I am human.
Yeah. And we've been doing that forever.
Yeah.
And then people, want to complain about, uh, data, or their face. But then at the same time, people have been putting their face into what do I look like older Facebook things,
Yeah.
you know, um, forever. So I just sort of see that there might be an issue on that, but this proves that someone is real, and let's incentivize them.
Yeah.
Cred is trying to do that, on-chain cred, POAPs try to do that, people farm the heck out of POAPs. Look at how many people farm the heck out of Drip House, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Um, I think one of the new metas will be, it's not by how few NFTs you have, but by how many.
Right.
So there's some cool
Yeah.
stuff now.
It's going to be interesting to see how it pans out. I mean, like you said, there are so many regulatory issues, but also these just like true fundamental, user issues, if you will. And like how this whole ecosystem is going to evolve is, I mean, it's going to be fun to be a part of for sure. But definitely interesting.
Yeah. What do you have on your plate? What do you see? What excites you?
I mean, a lot of things, right? Like, I guess one of the, I guess maybe bigger headliney things that excites me is there's a new EVM that's in the works called Monad. Have you heard of Monad?
Yep.
What do you think about Monad?
It's I was told that it's along the same lines as Linea. Linea being basically a Ethereum ZK.
Yeah,
So I guess learning what the purpose is, who it attracts, why it attracts them, and the infrastructure side of you know projects. I think projects need to can no longer look at like we get a few. We need to start with a few, and then we can build it out to serve many. I think they need to come forward. Projects need to come forward like, oh yeah, we can serve Walmart now.
right. Yeah, I think the times of, chains being under development, if you will, or building, please wait, are kind of over, right? Like we, not that we have everything figured out yet, but like I think we're at a place where we're ready to go here. Like we know what we're capable of, and we should be able to your point, service Walmart. So yeah, I think that chain excites me. I the reason it caught my eye is I saw EVM 10,000 transactions per second, and I was like, ooh, okay, we'll see what they can do with that. Um, so that's definitely one thing that excites me. I'm excited to see the hackathon entries for the current hackathon. I forget who's hosting it for Solana. I know there are some really, really talented people building. I'm in a couple like Telegram chats with these guys, and they're all day. They're like, "Look at this, look at that." And it's hard to keep track of everything, but it sounds like they're working on some really, really cool stuff. So I'll be having an eye on that. And yeah, in a
Solana
similar vein,
University is doing some big stuff too.
I was just gonna say that. Solana, you?
Solana U.
Yep, I was just gonna say that. In the same vein, Solana U is producing some really cool projects with some really young, very, very smart people. Um, yeah, go ahead.
I haven't talked about this kid for a minute. You might have met him too at the Hacker House. He had just turned 18, and he was on his third project. His first project being, or his second project being, using AI to do voice to text, with a text then read the AI modals and made avatars that did sign language.
No way.
Yeah,
That is crazy. Was it I don't want to say his name, but dark brown curly hair?
sort of floopies.
Yep, yep. He was a really smart kid. I didn't get to talk to him too much, but he just like had that confidence, but like not overbearing and cocky, but just knew his stuff. So
Yeah,
he was great to meet. That seems like a really cool project.
yeah. I just there's these, I say these kids, the stuff is so intuitive, especially as we come across more no code solutions. Foster Marketplace does some great stuff with NFTs and 3D models. Third Land, just on Solana, there's some really cool stuff coming out. Helium Mobile, you know,
Yep.
um, and people underestimate that power of the Visa deal.
I know. I thought, our chart was gonna go through the roof, but clearly it didn't. But yeah, that's crazy big. I didn't expect to see that come out of the woodworks as soon as it did.
Yeah, I'm excited. Um, and since we're talking EVM and scalability size, are you proof of work, proof of stake, or proof of history, or proof of authority?
I mean, I like proof of authority, but it's challenging to do well.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I like proof of stake. I'm a
Okay.
Solana guy through and through, to be honest.
All right. Um, one of the so there's a new proof of work chain coming out that's EVM, Quai, and there's
Or
multi-layered chain so that they can have executions that go layer up and roll up if they need to. So
very
there's some
cool.
cool stuff. They just launched their test net, third test net on last Tuesday. So on Taco Tuesday.
There you go. Man, I tell you, I feel like every time I have a good handle on the crypto space, there's always something new coming out that I'm like, I have to spend 5-10 minutes thinking about that and conceptualizing in my head. And okay, I get it now. But like, I mean, I love it, right? Like, this is why we're here, pushing forward. Like I said, breaking down these walls.
Yeah, this stuff is fun. Larry, I want to thank you, man, for taking the last hour with us.
Yeah,
I
thank you
want to
for
thank
having me.
everyone.
This has been great.
Yeah, no. I want to thank everyone for joining us. Larry, what's your social?
0x Larry 8 on Twitter.
Okay, and everyone, if you can check out NF Raids RAIDS as well, and .xyz. So there's just a lot of cool stuff. I want to thank everyone on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Telegram, Unlonely, the entire Farcaster team for making this possible on chain as well. We need some social video on Solana, so I could broadcast live video to Solana. That would be amazing. So, but to all the builders, keep building. Want to thank you. As Larry, you've sort of listened into some of the shows. You've actually never been on one all the way to the end, so this might be something new for you. But you are in the hot seat. Final thoughts and words of wisdom.
Have fun, keep building, keep breaking walls. I know I'm
All
gonna
right,
do my very best to do it. But yeah, again, thank you for having me, Taco. This has been fun. Hopefully we can do this again soon.
definitely. And as always, I end with my final thoughts and words of wisdom. Huge shout out to the entire ETH Global team and all the builders from ETH Global. That hackathon was amazing. See everyone in Barcelona for SmartCon. And my final words of wisdom are always the same, as this is our 403rd episode of TacoBytes, your daily bite of Degen. A closed mouth cannot be fed, and you cannot feed a closed mouth. Meaning, if no one knows you're looking for opportunity, opportunity can never come a knocking. And if it does come a knocking and no one answers, it will keep on walking. And finally, we get to end with the best, worst knock knock joke on the face of the planet. Larry, since you're here, you get to help us with this. Are you ready?
Hit me.
All right. Knock knock.